Hey, what's going on? Always, it's your local real estate agent here, Garati Joseph, and your loan officer, Ronnie. We're here just to inform, not to influence. We got a cool video that we want to share with you guys, and let's go ahead and jump into that video.
All right. Whoop. All right, here we go.
Beautiful.
4 reasons that I invest in real estate. I want to protect capital. I do not want to lose money. Everybody in this room, you are losing money every day and you don't even know it. It's called the invisible tax, inflation. Number 2, you want cash flow. Your investments should pay you monthly. Now, if you're managing this property, you're earning income. You're not passive income. I don't want to be a manager. If it's easy to buy, it's going to be hard to get out of. Number 3, you want the big D, vitamin D, appreciation. You want this thing, this tax write-off. Number 4, dude, I want long-term appreciation. So that means I got to sell it. Now, appreciation doesn't come if you can't sell it. If you read my book, How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate, one of the things I look for is multiple buyers on my deal. I want to know who my exit is when I buy it.
Yeah, it's a very informative video. Just mainly focus on the benefits of investing in real estate, from appreciation, depreciation, cash flow, and being able to stay on top of that ugly inflation. So and real estate does give you that benefit and that luxury to address all those things when you go into investing in real estate. And also, I know from a personal standpoint, when he talks about that depreciation, it is huge and crucial, where you're able to actually help reduce your tax liability the more properties you own, which is meaning less money that you're paying to the government. Even though you're cash flowing, you also can leverage the expenses that you have on those properties to help reduce your tax liabilities. And when you get appreciation, that's just icing on the cake, because when you take into consideration the payments that are being paid down by your tenant, as far as a mortgage, that's kind of what I call forced appreciation. But if you're able to get market appreciation, that's even gravy on top of what you're getting with the forced appreciation. So getting into real estate is not waiting, it's just doing it now if you're in a position to do so.
Yeah, and kind of recap, this video is obviously talking investment purposes. Yeah. And I will say, I know, Garati, you've got a couple of investment properties. I do too as well. And it's one of those get rich quick things, right? So everybody thinks, oh, real estate, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to make a bunch of money, maybe flipping housing people think about, right? But this is maybe a little bit another strategy, which I know, Garati, you and I both do. We kind of hold. We buy, we hold the property and, and rent it out. So, for instance, we've had a couple of properties now for, over 10 years, and it's amazing. You've got you're paying that mortgage down, you're making positive cash flow. So you're making a little bit each month. Paying that mortgage down, and then the amount of appreciation that we've gained over the last 10 years is phenomenal, right? So you can pull equity out of it. You can do a lot of things with it, right? You don't necessarily have to sell it. You can refinance. You can do a home equity line of credit, grab that money and just do other things with. And the other thing he said about inflation, it's funny. He does say that that's the invisible thing no one ever talks about. Yeah. And one thing I want to point out is with inflation, everybody over the last couple of years now has heard that name. It's all over the news with inflation, with just everything going up. You name it, it's gone up in the last couple of years. And for those people thinking, oh, the housing is going to crash, and everybody's can remember 2008, so that's what everybody's thinking. Right now, God forbid, you needed to build a brand new home today. It's going to cost a lot more to build than it did, say, 3 years ago. So I think for that instance, housing, supply and demand is obviously the main driver of the housing market, and that's why housing has gone up. But also another little safety net is this inflation. To build a brand new home is significantly more than it was 3 or 4 years ago. So that's going to help keep prices, somewhat stable, along with the supply and demand.
And it's interesting that you bring that up, because I read in this past week, this CEO of this multi-billion company who just purchased a home, multi-million-dollar home in Boca Raton. He paid $30 million for this home. And to your point, if you have $30 million, wouldn't you think it would be cheaper to build a home from the ground up? And not only that, this same home that he purchased for $30 million sold in 2021 for half the price. So obviously, when it comes down to it, pay attention what the people with real money are doing with their money. If they're looking at the fact that, hey, I can care less that this home sold for $16 million in 2021. I want to buy it now for $30 million because this is what it's worth today, and this is where I want to live, and this is what I can afford. And it makes more sense for me to do that versus building from the ground up. So I say all that to say, we always emphasize it's crucial to make sure you have the right people on your team, give you the right advice and information to make the best decision based off of where you're at in your real estate journey.
And another thing I think is real factor right now is everybody's looking back to 2019, 2020 prices and thinking, I could have bought that house for X dollars and now it's worth this. Yeah. So it's like you almost have to swallow your pride. You mentioned this off the camera before, that a lot of people have a hard time doing that, right? Saying, crap, I don't want to pay this much for this house because I know it was this much a couple years back. And I made that same mistake in the stock market. So I want to say, whatever it was, 15, 20 years ago, I took this, learning how to do, buy and sell stocks, and Apple at the time was $212. And I'll never forget. $212. I'm thinking, man, I missed the boat on Apple. I'm sitting there. My cousin actually bought it a couple years prior for I forget the exact amount, but let's say $40 or $50. So I'm thinking he bought it for 40 or 50, and now it's at 212. I missed the boat. Now, obviously, we all know the story with Apple 15 years ago. I don't know how many times it split, whatever. But if you would have got in at 212 and not thinking, wow, looking back, I should have bought it then. It's just a matter of now, kind of moving forward, like your point. What is everybody else doing?
Exactly. And like you said, moving forward and just, knowing what makes sense for you right now, because, tomorrow's going to come, it's just what you're going to do today. So that's why the best way to look at it. So, well, as always, appreciate you guys' time. And until next time.
All right. Take it easy.
All right. Yeah.